Hello, and welcome back to Prairie Girl Flowers YouTube channel, which I have not been here very much in the last year. So here we are in my sort of makeshift greenhouse in my basement, which is where I have been planting seeds for the last 6 years, and it works. This is the first year it's been only this size because I have a greenhouse now where I actually grow my flowers, and I'm building a brand new one this year, which I hope to share with you as well. So if you are new here, welcome. My name is Darcy. I am the creator and own Prairie Girl Flowers and Herbs. I've been adding herbs to my flower bouquets for years. And I decided to get into herbalism, so I added it onto my name. Anyway, what I really want to talk to you today about is Larkspur. So about 2 months ago, well, let me back up even further. Larkspur is or needs cold stratification. So what I did about 2 months ago is I decided I'm going to try something different. I have struggled for years to get Larkspur to grow in all of my other trays. Like I've planted trays and trays of them, and I just have struggled doing it. And I've over time figured out why. Um, One of the biggest lessons I've learned as a flower farmer or grower is that each individual plant has its own unique way of existing and way of germinating, just like you and I. For us, each individually to thrive, we each have our own little unique way, and plants are no different. So it is a process for sure. Now, Larkspur, for example, has been one of my struggles. I've probably tried to put it into a category with all of the other plants, and it just has never worked. So I gave up on it for years, but I decided this year I'm gonna do it. So here's the deal. It needs cold stratification. And typically what a lot of people do is they take the seed packet or the seeds in whatever quantity you buy them, and they put it in their fridge so that it goes through a cold stratification, and you take them out, you moisten the seed. A lot of times even people will put the seeds on a moist paper towel and then cover them up and put them in the fridge so they stay moist while they're getting cold. So this year, what I decided to do is a little experiment. I only planted, let's see, 6 times 3, 18 plants. So not very many, but it's an experiment. So I didn't want to do a full tray. So I added dirt to the tray or to these pods, and then I put the seed in and I lightly watered it, and it has been, and then I put it in a plastic bag, and it has been sitting in my fridge. My basement fridge. So this fridge is kind of a catch-all. It has boxes of soda for when we have guests and stuff like that. It doesn't go in the same fridge as food, just FYI. Anyway, so I wrapped it in a bag nonetheless. So even if it was with food, it would be really okay. And I left it in there for 2 months to cold stratify in a moist environment. So all I have to do is take it out, and here we are. So here's the other thing about Larkspur. It does not like light for germination. So I am not going to put it on here. I could put it up here, but these plants all want heat. Here is my heat mat, which is a large heat mat, and my trays, and this is just one tray of other seedlings that want heat, nor do they want light. So this light is just on so I can see what's going on, and I can start to see who's germinated in there and who hasn't. And I'm really excited to tell you. My lavender has started to germinate. So lavender is another one that needs cold stratification. So I've had lavender in my fridge, and I did the seed method. So I just put the whole packet right in the fridge and let them sit in the fridge. I think I only had them in there about not even full 60 days. And they want heat to germinate. So that's why they get to live up here. They don't want light. You only put the light on. Here's something else that when I went through a flower course before I started growing annuals, because I've always been a perennial gardener. So growing annuals is different. And just like perennials, they each have their own little thing. Um, but it was a little overwhelming at first because there were so many varieties and so many, this plant needs this one needs this, that I really struggled getting them under a grow light at the right time. And, over the years, I have figured it out. So I just want to throw that out to you guys. You don't put a seedling under a grow light until it's actually germinated and you actually see the green plant. And then they need light to keep growing. So until then, most plants want to be in the dark to germinate. Most, that's a key word. So that is a matter of learning which ones do and which ones don't. Larkspur does not want to germinate in the light. They don't even want to germinate on a heat mat. So I am going to put them in this tray all by themselves. They get a whole tray all by themselves, because the other thing they don't really like is to be in really moist soil. I probably got them a little too wet when I put them in the fridge. I did not add any water to them when I had them in the fridge. So they're kind of wet right now. So of course I'm not going to add any water to the tray. So they don't like heat to germinate. They don't like to be super wet. They just want to be moist, and they like to germinate in the dark. So I am not going to, well, you can see right here, I have the clear domes on top of my other trays. I'm not going to add one of those to my Larkspur. I'm actually going to put a dirty, tray on top of them. And I'm just gonna set them over here and not worry about them, but check on them every other day to see how they're doing. Make sure that they're actually starting to dry out a little bit. And the temperature in this room is 60 degrees. So it's actually even a little bit cool, warm for them to germinate. But short of me taking them outside, this is the coolest space I have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn you here a little bit and drop you. This is my kind of catch-all room. So this is kind of a messy room, but it's the coolest room we have. So I'm going to put them just over here on a box. And just so this doesn't fall off, give it a little air, put something over the top. And I'm just going to let them stay there. They take up to 3 weeks to germinate. So it takes some patience to grow Larkspur, but I learned so much from these guys. It just is such an experience. And I want to talk a little bit more about them, but I'm going to show you my whole setup here first. Okay, if you're a gardener, you've probably already have a system set up to grow your seedlings. And if you've never grown seedlings and you're a gardener, a vegetable gardener, or you grow your own flowers, I highly encourage it. Of course, you have to have a little space to set something like this up. And, it gets a little dirty, which I don't care about in this room. I just sweep the floor daily. So, yeah, you gotta want to get a little dirty to grow seeds. So with that, what I would like to share with you is I grow in zone 4, 4A, sometimes 4B. I do grow flowers here. Most of mine here are perennials. But out at my lake, which is in Minnesota, it kind of borders on the edge of 4B to 5. Like I can grow some perennial zone 5 flowers there, and they do quite well. I'm always experimenting to see how and what grows where. So it's always a little bit of a journey. Anyway, back to my whole setup here. Back in the day, I turned half of this room into my greenhouse. I took plastic sheeting, just buy it at the hardware store. I put it over the top. I put it around several of these shelves, and I grew thousands of plants. which is a lot of work. I don't have anybody that helps me. I do it all by myself, and it is a lot of work by yourself. As I've gotten older and as I've been doing this for a while, there's a few things I love about sharing flowers with people, and I've learned a few things I really don't like about getting my flowers out into the world. And so what I've started to notice as I've gotten older is instead of wanting to grow bigger, I grow on a quarter of an acre, or been growing on a quarter of an acre. This year I'm sort of growing on less space, but I'm doing it differently. I'm not going to grow in rows anymore. I want to create sort of a inviting environment where maybe the flowers are planted in like pods instead, right? Maybe they're planted in a triangle, depending on where they are. I'm not doing the kind of monoculture row planting anymore because I'm not interested anymore in growing bigger. I want to grow deeper, I want to get more artistic, and I want to grow less well-known plants. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean I don't want to grow any well-known plants. I'm growing those as well. Okay, so right here I started peppers and tomatoes, gosh, month and a half ago, because they do take quite a while to germinate. And they are doing fantastic. And they're still on a heat tray, which I should probably take them off. A couple things I want to talk about is, first of all, here is how I water them. I fill the tray with water versus putting water over the top of the plant. And then they just take up whatever they want. Now, when I planted these, you'll see that I got 3 tomatoes in there. I kind of did it on purpose because I want to plant lots of tomatoes like I do every year, but some of these got a little too close. And then like over here, I only got one, but this guy is struggling because the other one is winning out, so we'll pull him. That's the hard thing about really not being conscious about planting the number of seeds, excuse me, in a tray is you have to pull them out, the ones that are kind of struggling, because they're just never going to be strong, healthy plants. One of the other things that I've really played with over the years, particularly because of the zone I live in, is growing cold season flowers. So there are cold season annuals and there are warm season annuals, just like there are for garden vegetables, right? Like lettuce, beets, love cool weather, and things like tomatoes, cucumbers love warmer weather. In fact, tomatoes love it when it's really hot. So flowers are the same way. So since I live in the zone I have really focused on cold annuals because they're so much easier to grow here, and I can plant them out in my garden so much earlier than the warm. Like my dahlias, I put out the end of May if my evening temperature is above 50 consistently. Otherwise, the dahlias have to wait till June sometimes where I live. So that's a whole nother story about planting dahlias up here, but I will share that with you some other time. So with that said, I have created a free email series for cold season annuals and how to get started yourself if you're interested in that. A lot of people don't realize that there is a difference, or maybe they've noticed the difference but didn't really consciously think much about it. So it's just a free email series. You'll get a series of emails talking about how to get started with cold annual flowers. So I will link that below this video if you're interested in it. And of course, that will mean you will be part of my newsletter, where I actually create or add information in there that I don't share really anywhere on my social media. So you'll get special treatment in my newsletter. Anyway, Okay, in ending this video, I am at my very messy planting table. That's gotten a little out of control. So I have a whole bunch of other plants to seed. But if you enjoyed this video about particular plant Larkspur and are interested in my cold annual planting series, which is a free email series, sign up in the link below. And in ending, I would love to hear from you. Are you planting lupin? Are you planting larkspur this year, or are you going to buy it? It's always nice to hear what other people are planting and what else they're doing. And I would love to hear from you how that journey is going for you. So, my next video, I'll show you how I plant all of this stuff and the soil I use. So look forward to that next week. So bye for now. Thanks for stopping in.